Hey Aries, I just pulled cards for you and honestly what came through is making so much sense right now. If you have been feeling like something major is shifting in your energy lately, like you are standing at the edge of something completely different than where you have been, the cards are confirming that you did not just imagine this. You actually manifested this moment, and your life is about to transform in ways that are going to feel both surprising and somehow exactly right at the same time. So, I am shuffling here and the first card that comes out is the Two of Cups, and I need to talk about this because the energy here is really specific. This is not just about romance, although for some of you there is definitely a significant connection entering your world. What I am seeing with the Two of Cups is that you have been calling in a type of partnership or collaboration that operates on a completely different frequency than what you have experienced before. You know how sometimes you meet someone, and the dynamic just clicks in a way that feels almost telepathic. That is what is coming. But here's what makes this really interesting for manifestation purposes. The Two of Cups appearing first tells me that you have been doing inner work around how you relate to others. Maybe working on your boundaries or healing old relationship patterns. And that work is what opened the doorway for this connection. The universe does not bring us partnerships that match our wounds anymore once we have healed them. It brings us partnerships that match our growth. So if you have been wondering whether all that self-development stuff actually matters, this card is your answer. Someone is going to show up, or a collaboration opportunity is going to present itself, and you are going to recognize immediately that this would not have been possible 6 months ago because you were not vibrating at this level yet. The reciprocity here is insane. Equal investment, equal enthusiasm, equal vision. And I am getting that for some of you this might actually be a business partnership or creative collaboration that has romantic chemistry but starts as something professional. Either way, the mutual respect and recognition is going to be undeniable. Next card is the Moon, and okay, this is where things get really layered because the Moon is not usually a card people get excited about, but in the context of manifestation it is actually incredibly powerful. What the Moon is telling me is that you have been navigating a period of uncertainty where you could not see the full picture. Maybe you have been questioning whether you are on the right path or whether the things you have been visualizing are actually going to come through. There have probably been moments where your intuition is telling you one thing but your logical mind is trying to talk you out of it. The Moon says that uncertainty was not a problem, it was actually part of the process. You have been learning to trust your inner guidance even when external confirmation was not there yet. And that is a massive manifestation skill. Most people only believe in their desires when they can see evidence. You have been learning to believe in your desires while they are still forming in the invisible realm. That is advanced level stuff. So the Moon here is confirming that what you have been sensing in the darkness is real. Those intuitive hits you have been getting, those dreams that feel significant, those random thoughts that keep coming back, they are not just your imagination. They are actually information filtering through from the future version of your life that already exists energetically. Your subconscious has been receiving downloads, and now things are going to start surfacing into conscious reality. I'm also seeing with the Moon that some illusions are going to dissolve. You might find out that something you thought was solid was actually not serving you, or someone you thought had your best interests in mind actually did not. And weirdly, that is going to feel like a relief because it clears space for what is real to come in. The Hanged Man comes in next, and I have to tell you, when this card shows up in a manifestation reading, it is always significant because it represents a complete perspective shift. You know how sometimes you have been trying to force something to happen a certain way, and then you finally let go and suddenly everything flows. That is Hanged Man energy. What I am seeing here is that you recently went through a period where you had to surrender control over how your manifestation was going to unfold. Maybe you had a specific timeline in mind or a specific way you thought things needed to happen, and life basically said no, actually it is going to happen differently. The Hanged Man is telling me that suspension period was necessary because you were meant to develop a completely new perspective on what you actually want. Sometimes we think we want something, and then when we are forced to pause and really examine it from all angles, we realize we actually want something better, or we want the same thing but for different reasons. The transformation that is coming for you is connected to this shift in perspective. You are not the same person who started manifesting this. You have evolved through the process, and now what is coming is going to match who you have become, not who you were when you started. I am also getting that some of you literally had to sacrifice something or let something go. Maybe a relationship or a job or a living situation. And at the time it felt like a setback, but the Hanged Man is saying that was actually you clearing karmic debt and making space for the new timeline. The sacrifice was the initiation. 7 of Cups is the next energy coming through, and this is fascinating. Because 7 of Cups is about having multiple options and possibilities, but also about discernment and not getting lost in fantasy. In your manifestation journey, I am seeing that you have been presented with several different paths or opportunities recently, and there has been some confusion about which one to choose. Maybe you have been getting multiple job offers or multiple romantic interests or multiple ideas for creative projects, and your mind has been spinning trying to figure out the right choice. What 7 of Cups is telling me is that this abundance of options is actually evidence that your manifestation is working. You called an opportunity and it came, just not in the single neat package you might have expected. The universe said, okay, you want abundance. Here is abundance. Now practice your discernment. This card is asking you to get really clear on what you actually want versus what just looks appealing on the surface. Some of these cups are filled with real treasure and some are filled with illusions, and the transformation that is coming depends on you choosing wisely. I'm getting that your intuition already knows which option is correct, but your ego might be tempted by something flashier or safer. Trust the option that scares you a little bit because it requires you to step into a bigger version of yourself. That is the one. The 7 of Cups is also telling me that you need to stop consuming so much information about manifestation and spirituality and start actually implementing what you already know. You have been gathering knowledge, but now it is time to make a decision and commit to a direction. 4 of Wands just came out, and this is making me smile because 4 of Wands is literally celebration, completion of a foundation, homecoming energy. This tells me that whatever is transforming in your life is going to bring you a sense of stability and joy that you have been craving. For some of you, this is literal, like you are manifesting a new home or a living situation that finally feels right. For others, this is about reaching a milestone that you have been working toward for a long time. The 4 of Wands represents that moment when you can finally exhale because the foundation is solid now. You are not scrambling anymore. You are not in survival mode. You actually have something real to build on. What I love about this card in your spread is that it tells me the transformation is not going to be chaotic or destabilizing. It is actually going to bring more peace and security into your life, even though it represents change. This is the difference between growth that feels forced and growth that feels aligned. You are moving into a new phase, but it is going to feel like coming home to yourself. I am also seeing celebrations here, like literal events where people are gathering to acknowledge your success or your new beginning. Could be an engagement, a housewarming, a launch party, a graduation, something where your people come together to celebrate you. And the energy around this is so warm and genuine. These are people who have watched you struggle and grow, and they are genuinely happy for you. The 4 of Wands is also about partnerships and collaborations becoming official. So if the 2 of Cups was about meeting someone significant, the 4 of Wands might be about that connection, becoming more committed or public. 7 of Pentacles is next, and this card is really validating because it represents the moment where you can actually see the results of what you have been planting. You know how you have been putting in work, whether that is inner work or actual literal work, and sometimes it feels like nothing is happening. 7 of Pentacles is the universe saying actually everything is happening, you just have not been able to see the full harvest yet. But now you are at the point where you can step back and look at what you have been cultivating and go, okay, yeah, this is actually growing. For manifestation, this is huge because it represents tangible evidence that your efforts are working. This is not just spiritual bypassing or toxic positivity. This is real-world results starting to show up. I am seeing that you might be reviewing your progress lately, maybe looking at where you were a year ago versus where you are now, and recognizing that you have actually come really far even if you are not at the finish line yet. The 7 of Pentacles asks you to be patient with the timeline though. Just because you can see growth does not mean it is time to harvest yet. There is still some development that needs to happen, but knowing that it is working makes it easier to keep going. I am also getting that some of you might be evaluating whether the path you are on is still aligned with what you actually want. The The Seven of Pentacles can indicate a reassessment moment where you decide whether to keep investing energy in the same direction or pivot slightly. Trust yourself if you are feeling called to adjust your approach. The transformation that is coming might include you making a strategic change in how you are pursuing your goals. The Emperor shows up, and this is powerful because the Emperor represents structure, authority, leadership, taking control. In the context of your manifestation and life transformation, the Emperor is telling me that you are stepping into a version of yourself that is much more self-assured and authoritative. You are not asking for permission anymore. You are not waiting for someone else to validate your vision. You are literally just building your empire. I am seeing that part of what you manifested was a stronger relationship with your own inner authority. Maybe you used to look outside yourself for guidance constantly, or you gave your power away to people who did not deserve it, and you have been reclaiming that. The Emperor says you are ready now to lead your own life with confidence and clarity. For some of you, this might manifest as a promotion or a leadership role at work. For others, it might be starting your own business or taking full ownership of a creative project. The Emperor is about establishing order and systems that support your vision long term. This is not chaotic inspiration energy. This is strategic execution energy. You know what you want and you are building the infrastructure to make it sustainable. The transformation here is about you recognizing that you are the authority in your own life and nobody else gets to tell you what is possible for you. I am also seeing that the Emperor can represent a masculine energy person entering your life who has their life together, someone stable and protective and mature. But honestly, the stronger message I am getting is about you embodying Emperor energy regardless of your gender. You are becoming the person you used to hope would save you. Four of Swords comes in next, and initially this might seem contradictory to all the action and transformation energy, but actually it makes perfect sense. Four of Swords is about rest, recovery, contemplation, strategic retreat. What this tells me is that part of manifesting this transformation has required you to step back from the chaos and noise and really go inward. You have probably been spending more time alone lately, maybe meditating or journaling or just thinking deeply about what you actually want. The Four of Swords says that rest was not laziness, it was preparation. You were integrating lessons and allowing your nervous system to recalibrate to a higher frequency. And here is what is really interesting about this card showing up now. It is telling me that even as things start to transform and speed up externally, you are going to need to maintain practices that keep you grounded and centered. The transformation is not going to require you to burn out or hustle yourself into exhaustion. It is actually going to require you to be well rested and mentally clear so you can make good decisions and enjoy what is coming. I am seeing that some of you might have been recovering from burnout or illness or emotional exhaustion, and the Four of Swords is confirmation that your body and mind are healing, and you are going to have the energy you need for this next phase. This card also suggests that you have been doing a lot of mental rehearsal and visualization, literally seeing yourself living the life you want. And that mental preparation is about to become physical reality. Your mind has been building the blueprint in stillness, and now it is time to construct it in the material world. Knight of Swords just flew out of the deck, and the energy completely shifted because Knight of Swords is fast. This is sudden movement, direct communication, cutting through obstacles, intellectual breakthroughs. After all that contemplation and patience, Knight of Swords says things are about to accelerate rapidly. Decisions that you have been mulling over are going to become crystal clear and you are going to act on them swiftly. Communication that has been delayed is going to come through. If you have been waiting to hear back about something, Knight of Swords says the message is coming and it is going to be direct and probably pretty quick. This knight does not waste time with pleasantries or ambiguity. You are going to get straight answers. For your manifestation, Knight of Swords represents the moment where thought becomes action. You have been planning and visualizing, and now you are going to move. And the movement is going to feel exhilarating because finally you are not stuck anymore. I am also seeing that you might need to speak your truth about something soon, maybe having a confrontation or a difficult conversation that you have been avoiding. Knight of Swords gives you the courage and clarity to say what needs to be said without being cruel but also without sugarcoating. The transformation is partly about you reclaiming your voice and using it powerfully. Some of you might be writing or communicating your ideas publicly, and this card says your message is going to cut through the noise and reach the right people. The Knight of Swords can also represent a person, someone sharp and intelligent and maybe a bit intense who is going to enter your life and catalyze change. This could be a mentor or collaborator, or even a worthy opponent who challenges you to level up. The final card is King of Cups, and honestly this is such a beautiful note to end on because King of Cups represents emotional mastery, compassion, balanced emotions, maturity in relationships. After all the movement and transformation, you are landing in a place of emotional sovereignty. You are not reactive anymore. You are responsive. You are not controlled by your feelings. You understand them and work with them consciously. The King of Cups tells me that the biggest transformation is actually happening internally in how you relate to your own emotional world and how you show up in relationships. You are becoming someone who can hold space for deep feelings without being overwhelmed by them. Someone who can be vulnerable without being fragile. Someone who leads with empathy but also maintains healthy boundaries. This is mastery level stuff, and it does not happen overnight. You have earned this through all the inner work you have been doing. For manifestation, King of Cups is incredibly powerful because it represents alignment between what you want and what you feel you deserve. You are not manifesting from a place of lack or desperation anymore. You are manifesting from a place of wholeness. And that changes everything because the universe responds to your energetic state, not just your words. When you embody King of Cups energy, you attract situations and people that match that frequency of emotional maturity and stability. I am also seeing that for some of you this card represents a significant person, potentially a romantic partner who is emotionally intelligent and available and ready for something real. This is not someone playing games or running hot and cold. This is someone who knows what they want and has done their healing work. The King of Cups as your final card tells me that the transformation you manifested is ultimately bringing you into alignment with love, both self-love and love from others. And that is going to permeate every area of your life. So Aries, let me bring this all together for you because the story these cards are telling is really cohesive. You manifested this transformation by doing deep inner work while everything looked uncertain on the outside. You learned to trust your intuition even when you could not see the full path. You surrendered control over the how and when and allowed the universe to orchestrate things in divine timing. You developed discernment to choose the right opportunities from multiple options. You built solid foundations and celebrated your progress even when the journey was not complete. You patiently tended to your growth and recognized that real results take time. You stepped into your authority and stopped waiting for permission. You rested and integrated lessons instead of burning yourself out. And now things are accelerating quickly as you speak your truth and take decisive action, all while maintaining emotional mastery and maturity. The transformation is not just external circumstances changing, it is you becoming a completely different version of yourself. One who is aligned with what you truly desire and capable of sustaining it. Your life is about to transform because you already transformed internally, and now reality is catching up to match your new frequency. Trust the process, trust yourself, and get ready because what you called in is here.